Well, hey, everyone. Time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching on YouTube Live, please join us in the chat room. Participate with us and others as they watch the show. The link to the chat room can be found on geocachetalk.com front page. If you're listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. Give us a review, hopefully a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate that. And a reminder for yourself so you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our featured patrons, Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy, Josh Boggs, Carrot Killer, Korsgat, Geocaching with Lampe, Dave and Karen of Cache Canada, Team Tailwagger, Black Chrome, and our new patrons, Lost Boy Rambler, Houston, Texas Dave, Hulu Yossi, Adair MD, Simmels123, Chaos in Motion, the Bruce Zero, or as he likes to go by now, is at the cache. What's it? Cache the line, sorry. 00 Ridland Kids 00, Florida TB Hunter, The Caching Dead New York, and Nicole. Also, UDAC, The Dig Family, JB Opto, and then I think it's like New York Jets Fan 1, NYJ Fan 1, and Keeper of the Cash Flow. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get the new blackout coins, which I'm showing right now.
Mm-hmm.
New blackout
Seen it
coins.
a few times on Instagram this week.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
If you got one, do a little gramming. Gram that thing. It's awesome. we love seeing those.
A little gramming.
Do a little gramming. Yeah, we've people take them to geocaches. It's awesome. I always love seeing those pictures.
I get excited every time I see it.
Yeah, me too. Other geocaching items like the very cute little zipper pull. Cool. I'm showing the zipper
earring.
Pull. I'm showing the zipper pull right now, or earring, pendant. I don't know. You could make it into whatever you want. Make it into a hat, pterodactyl. I don't know. Make it into something. But it's kind of cool. It's the microphone of the geocache. So that's our little doodad.
Where do they get the activation code from that?
I've been sending it to them, but the activation code is GeoTalk.
Stacy was asking, so she forgot.
Yep, GeoTalk, and the activation code for the coin is podcast. If you have one,
Sasquatch lover called it a fly zipper.
Fly zipper.
That would be interesting. That would be unique.
Yeah, that would be different. It's trackable, so I mean, do what you want, my friend. Do whatever you want to do with that.
The CFO's in the chat room. I can see the bullying starting already.
All yours, already starting. So bonus content. We did recently a bonus show with WV Tim for our patrons, and that's out there on the Patreon link. And invites to special events. We have a patron dinner coming up at Geo Woodstock. So
that's going to be a blast.
Yep. I can still hear myself a little bit, buddy. You turn it down a little. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. So let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening.
And everything sounds good now. Let's jump right into show 144 for April 14th as we discuss mystery geocaches.
So 144 already.
I know, isn't that crazy? 144. It's a gross show. That's a Chris of the Northwest joke, but I had to do it. 144. We're going to talk about mystery caches, the non-puzzle ones. Well, mostly non-puzzle is what I put in the notes. So mostly non-puzzle tonight. So all right,
other stuff,
and but before we get to that, we're going to talk a little news. Jesse and I are both working frantically on either finishing a book or updating a book. I spent the weekend a lot of hours, but I spent the entire weekend, including Friday. I had Friday off, and I spent many hours updating the 201 geocaches to find before you die. So there's a second edition. Yeah, it was a lot of work. There's a lot of new. I was surprised in basically 2 years. Yeah, basically 2 years since the book came out.
It changes
Um,
quickly.
it did. It did. Interesting. Here's an interesting thing because somebody asked me one time. They said, um, "Well, why do a book on it? Because they're all going to be archived." But by the time it's like, I don't think that many are going to be archived. And there was very few. Really, there's only been a couple, mostly webcams. Ugh, that's sad. I had to update the webcam list, or the amount in the book, which was sad to see that we've lost almost like a third of them since the
Yeah.
book came out. But there are there are a bunch of new ones. I was surprised that a grouping of top 20, that there was some that popped all the way, like Sodak Zax. He had such a high Wilson rating. He went from nothing 2 years ago on that one cache to second. So it's interesting. It was interesting to go back through and see. A lot of them didn't change. All the oldest caches in 2 years, none of them changed. So that's good. We haven't lost any of the oldest caches. And then the most favorited did change a little bit. There have been some that have had a lot of favorited still, obviously, but there's a couple that kind of have gotten more favorites in the past 2 years, and so they've kind of skipped past the bottom of the list there and got into the
Oh
top
yeah.
20. So, and you got a book close to being out.
Yeah, it'll be at Geo Woodstock. It's all about geocaching challenges, which we won't really touch on tonight that much, but
Nope, we
we'll
have a
talk
show
about all
on.
the other stuff tonight. But yeah, same thing all weekend. And
It's
as
awesome.
as probably doesn't surprise anybody, I broke my own computer. So
Oh no.
I've been the CFO and I left home to go work on this all weekend. Stayed away from home because there's so many other people here, and it's a challenge to work on one computer.
It is. I
And
hear
you know,
you.
a couple of little devices in a computer, but we worked through it, and she is diligently editing my gobbledygook. Unfortunately, I write like I think, so it took her a long time to get it back into something anybody else can understand. But I just, I'm very passionate about it. So I'm absolutely excited to have that come out, and we'll talk about more about that later. But it was all weekend. Didn't really get to
Yeah.
do much caching at all. Just sat down and did the book all weekend long.
Oh man. So somebody's asking in the chat room. I jumped over there, and I don't know how you keep track of the chat room because I just keep wanting to talk to people in the chat room. So, a couple quick things. We're thinking the books are going to be 12 this time, but they're going to be $10 at Geo Woodstock, so we're going to have a little cheaper price. We might work out a deal. I don't know. Jesse and I have to talk about if you want to buy both of the new updated books. Maybe we'll work out maybe a cheaper price if you want to buy two of them. Yeah, UDAC's talking about. I don't think she's going to be able to make the trip from California, but she's asking about a YouTube live. We might try to do different things. We might Periscope. We may do an Instagram live. We might do different things. We want to be able to provide those who can't go to Geo Woodstock some of the feel, the sounds, and the sights of everything. So as much as we can, we're going to try to do some of that while we're there.
We know of a couple of opportunities that may materialize where we get to do some live stuff from the show from Geo Woodstock for anybody that can't join or just people that are not where we are at the time. So should be fun. We're going to get on as much as we can.
Yeah, and of course the Sunday show that at Geo Woodstock will be from the maze. They've allowed us to set up and actually do a show live from the Geo. What do we? I don't get the right name of it. It's the Geo Maze. What is it called?
Adventure Maze.
Adventure Maze, the GPS Adventure Maze.
Yeah, this
Gosh,
is
I'm
our first time doing live
drawing a
from a
blank.
mega, but I don't think it'll be our last.
No,
I think it's
definitely
going to be
not.
fun, and we'll have to try it again for sure.
GPS Maze. Yep, thank you. Yeah, Adventure Maze. Yeah, no, we're and we're gonna try, like I said, to do as much as we can. So it's gonna be great. All right, I'm gonna leave you to the chat room watching because I'm gonna just be distracted all night. I don't know how you do it.
If we forgot to show up, I think they would still have a blast in there. So,
oh, they would, but it's like, wait, I want to. It's like I gotta do the show. I can't. One of us has got to drive. We can't.
That's
We both
right.
can't. We both of us cannot drive. One of us has to put the hands on the wheel. So I'm going to do that, and you kind of navigate. Okay. So quick card game update. It's been sent off to the publisher. That also will be at Geo Woodstock. But we're going to try to play it prior to, and we're going to set up a time, and we'll try to get some of the patrons who are available to join us for a run through. And what I want to do is try to make a good video of it, so that if anybody wants to see how the game was played, they can always go check out the YouTube video and kind of see, because I think it's interesting. I've enjoyed putting it together. So
I wonder if
played
at Woodstock we could have a secret backroom card game.
we
could
probably
actually play the game somewhere.
Well, that's my hope. We do have an interview room, so we could do maybe a something from back there. Have some people.
What about at the brewery? That could be.
Oh
fun.
yeah, get the cards out. So yeah, definitely. And if people are come to Geo Woodstock and they're like they're willing to play the game somewhere at a table and like advertise, hey, you can buy this game over here, then I might even like give you a copy of the game. So we'll talk about that when we get to Geo Woodstock. But
already making deals.
Yeah, man. All right, Live Tattoo.
So
Mr. Live Tattoo, by the way, is in the chat room.
Yeah, so we won't put him unless he wants to out himself in the chat room, because sometimes people back out of tattoos.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not gonna put him out on blast unless he admits to it in the chat room. But we may get to broadcast a live tattoo, trackable tattoo being happening from Geo Woodstock. That will be fun.
Or not Geo Woodstock, just from wherever he gets his tattoo.
Well, right? From the weekend of it, right?
Oh, is he doing it that weekend?
Oh, I thought so. Maybe not.
I don't know.
I thought we were talking about doing it down there.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Have an audience, find out exactly how you get a tattoo.
Right. People yelling out numbers like, put a 7. No, don't screw it up.
Yeah, this is not bingo. Shush, let him write.
Shush. Don't let him. Yeah, really. Regrets. What?
Yeah, no regrets.
Oh, no regrets. All right.
I've got a few tattoos, but I've never done it in front of an audience. So that would be that may be a little different.
Live on YouTube or wherever we do it from.
I mean, I would do it if I got another one. I'd be fine with it.
Right. I'd probably be screaming bloody murder.
It's not that bad.
It wouldn't be an interview. It'd be hard to do an interview like that. I watched an interview with Scarlett Johansson. We're getting off track quick. Where she's eating hot wings and the guy's still interviewing her. It was pretty funny because they kept showing the Scoville units of each wing that she's eating.
That's funny.
It got hotter and hotter, and she's going from milk or water to milk to she even got up at one point. She's like, can somebody come get some bread or something? I'm dying over here. It was a funny interview, and she kept going. She kept the interview going. So
we should do something funny like that.
That would be funny.
I don't want to eat hot wings though. I mean, I like hot wings, but I don't want to eat ones where I'm crying on camera. That is not. That doesn't help anybody.
Be a tough live show, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right, we're moving on now. Back on track off that bunny trail.
It is the idea to do it while in town for Geo Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
So that would be fun. I hope we can make that happen.
That would be cool. Oh man, that would be wild. Okay. Speaking of Geo Woodstock, 2491, I think, my friend, is where we are at. Let me check it because I got it up right here.
It was before we got on tonight.
Before the show started, 2491. 2491, yeah. Is it gonna suck if it's at like 2900 and we don't make it?
Yeah, 29.87.
I think at that point, Mr. George Cash, I think, is going to show up.
George Cache.
I think we're going to make. I think he's going to make an appearance. No, I don't know what will. I mean, it's my own opinion, but I think they should drop it to like 2,500. That's just my opinion.
You know what? It either
I
makes
know
or
it.
it doesn't. But this week, that whole weekend is going to be a lot of fun. So
Oh, it will. It will. I know. And we probably should forget about the whole Giga thing.
yeah,
But
what we don't want is for a bunch of fake ones to get up there and then it gets Giga. And,
no,
it's all bogus and stuff.
but even if you had a few sock puppet ones, you know that there's a bunch of people who don't log their wheel attend and they show
Oh,
up.
I know. You'll never have it accurate. It'll
They'll
never
never
be
be.
accurate.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. No, it's going to be a great weekend, and we did a couple shows on it, so we're moving on.
But we're
All
getting
right.
off. We've got to get to the show because there's a lot of material for the show
We
tonight.
do. Okay, yeah, and we're going to try to do as much screen shares as we can. I'm going to do a couple of them here in a minute. We're going to start with mystery caches that I would call "Shall We Play a Game?" And that's if you think about the movie War Games, where the Whopper
Mhm.
Whopper says, "Shall we play a game?" And so that's where that sort of come up with for mystery caches. So the first one, and I've got my little handy dandy cheat sheet, by the way.
There you go.
So I've got my cheat sheet right here, so I can give out the correct ones. This one's called Remember All, and the GC code, if you want to play along at home or wherever you're at, is GC2 Kayak, Jasmer, Nature, Hike. And I'm going to show it on screen. So let me do a quick screen share. We won't do every one of them like this, but I do want to show this one. And you've probably seen some similar to this, Jesse, but this one's near here, obviously, and I found it. Ta-da. But you can't. This is the kind you can't go to it unless you log in and you log in on your computer. You might be able to do it on a smartphone, I guess, possibly, but you log in and then you go play this game. And so let me flip over to the game. Okay, I had it pulled up earlier. So this is the game, and it's a remember game. It's like a concentration type game. So what they memory game. So what you do is you hit. So you have to get. You have only so many attempts, and you have to get 4 correct before you get 10 wrong. And what you do is that it pulls up a screen, and you have to memorize the photos. And
Right.
And then what they do is they provide a whole new list, and you got to go, that one wasn't on the list. Oh, no, I was incorrect, but I wasn't watching. I wasn't paying attention. So you have to find the new image that's not in the list. So you have to kind of memorize this list. And then you kind of go, okay. And then it's going to bring up a whole one. And then you go like, okay, which one was not? I don't think it was this one. Great job. You only need 2 more to win. So you get the idea. Have you ever seen one like that?
I haven't seen that one, and that's for the audio listeners. It's pretty neat. It's got like a memory board and 9 different pictures, and those are all Harry Potter themed.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming somebody has something where they're programming that. I don't know if they built that original or if they found a place to do that.
I don't know.
That's pretty neat when you do things like that because it's something totally outside of geocaching, but you have to get through that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously people can cheat, right? We all know that, but
you can. Once you get through them all, it'll give you
the even really start going to look for the cache. So that's kind of neat about the unknown and mystery category. Right. You can pretty much throw anything in there.
Right.
Anything that results in some coordinates, you can throw in there, and that's part of geocaching.
Right. Right. And I think, yeah, that's that one. Okay. All right. let me switch back and we'll talk about these others. Let me stop sharing.
And so there was one like that, like Flappy Bird was one that was on there for a while. And I've seen a
Right.
few other ones where they do something on screen like that that's really outside of the game.
Yeah.
But that one's pretty cool. The memory game, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's something different, and it's different than a puzzle. I mean, it's kind of a puzzle, but not really. It's a little different, but
It's still a puzzle, right? I mean, it's something you figure out
yeah,
just because it's not dry and it's something you're figuring out.
something different, something for sure, a little bit different. Okay, the next kind is we have termed them field puzzles, but they're not necessarily a field puzzle. Uh, there's a lot. There's a lot that falls into a field puzzle. Um, let me show this one because this is kind of what I'm kind of talking about. What I'm talking about
Have you
as
put
far
out
as
a
the
puzzle?
not quite like this one, but I like this idea. Um, this one has you go to a place, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where we actually met the mayor of Fairview.
Oh,
We were in the town of Fairview. We met him. And he's like, "Hi, what?" Because we looked suspicious as heck. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna have to do it.
you are kind of
So
suspicious.
we are suspicious. Well, get the Motley caching crew together. We really look suspicious. Bunch of old guys walking around, going, looking under park benches. I guess we don't look that suspicious if we're that old and senile. But anyway, so this one, tell me if you've seen something like this. They give you a location. They give you most of the coordinates, right? And then they tell you to go. This is an area where there's a lot of veteran.
Mm-hmm.
It's large monuments, a lot of veteran information. So it's kind of a cool little veterans memorial spot. And you have to find old William Evans. Thank you, sir, for your service. And then you add +2 to that number.
Right.
That's A. And then you do the number of small stone plaques inside the circle around the sculpture. So you're counting sculptures, you're counting plaques, and you're finishing it out. And then there's a certitude that this person put at the bottom to get so not uncommon, I guess is the way I put it. But I mean it's a question mark cache. I mean, it's a mystery. But I kind of like these. Would you agree?
I do. And somebody brought up something good. I'm trying to catch up with the chat room here.
Oh, you're fine. I'm
Um,
sorry.
so geocaching, GSMX2.
Yeah.
Um, he brought up something that the mystery kind of blurs the line with multicache. So if you go
Yeah.
to like this second category, where you go to the location and gather information, it gives you the final coordinates.
Right. Very much like a multicache. You're right.
Right. So there is, in the rules, because I've been looking through them a lot lately, there is an overlap between the two that can be either mystery or multi.
Right.
And it depends what they kind of make it depend on is how much it takes. So if you can just go there, find the information, and go to the next stage, a lot of times that leans towards multi. If you
Right.
go there and collect information, but might take you a while to figure it out,
Yeah.
then it may lean towards puzzle. So that
Sure.
part actually is overlapping, and it can fall into both of those categories. So he's absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them really can, right? Like we'll talk about a couple that, like somebody brought up night caches.
Right.
Those most of the time in
True.
my area, those are multis. Multi and mystery can be overlapping a lot
Right.
because it's kind of the catch-all category, right? The unknown is the catch-all category.
Yeah. Very much so. Okay. This is a different kind.
So the first two kinds are we play something anywhere, then go to the location. The second kind we're talking about is you go there first to gather information.
Yeah. You go there and gather. And what about this kind? This is also it's currently they archived this. Oh, that's so sad. Oh well. Hey, that gives me an idea. I might be able to put a cache out there. This is in town. Um, this one you go. It's the same kind of idea, and so they give you most of the coordinates. See, and when
Mm-hmm.
you get there, there's this is for um, local um location here at the Cotton Museum. Um, talks about Audie. This is about Audie Murphy, most decorated World War II soldier.
Mm.
He was from just north of Greenville. So there's a cool statue right there of him. You can kind of see it right there. But you get out there, you gather info. Same idea. You gather info, you get the coordinates, and then nearby, you obviously you're going to have to get. These aren't virtuals, so you're going to have a the physical cache somewhere nearby. So I like those.
So again, gathering information. You have some of the information on the cache page, some of the information you have to gather from the close to GZ, or at least one of the stages at GZ. And puzzles can be multi-stage also,
Right. This is a
or
little different.
unknown. Unknown category
Yeah,
can be multi-stage as well.
this is a little different. This is we had Drives on the show a couple shows back. This is one of Drives' famous person series. We talked a little bit about that. This is number 286 he's got here locally, but this one's kind of interesting in that you you gather information and then based on your information you go somewhere. So it's much closer to a multi-cache than the other two that we just showed
Right.
because you're really doing it.
Is right. There can be multi-stages. Even virtuals have multi-stages sometimes.
True. Yeah. So this one is one that if you're wanting to look it up later, GC1 kayak Yuma hike. In case you want to look that one up, so
There
you
you
get an
go.
idea what we're talking about. So, all right, that one's got the stages. Let's go to the next one on our list. This is yours. So we're gonna let you kind of talk about this one, but and why is it archived, man? This thing sounds awesome. So talk a little bit about GC6 difficulty Jasmer 8 kayak. I'm sorry, Jasmer 8 virtual. GC6 difficulty Jasmer 8 virtual.
This was actually a fun one, and of course, there can be some question on whether this one is a mystery or puzzle or whatever. Whatever. This was a
Sure.
gadget cache based on one of the classic WV Tim birdhouse caches.
Right.
So there was a mystery that you had to solve, which is pretty simple.
Sure.
And then you get the location. You go to the location, and then it was a birdhouse cache where it was marble based. You had to move the marbles around.
Yeah.
Doing it from side to side until the container popped out.
Sure.
The little bison tube came out of the tube once you kept moving the marbles around.
Cool.
It was pretty fun. It got a few favorite points, and it was pretty popular for the 3 days that it was.
You get 106 favorite points, my friend.
It had even more at first too. A lot of them.
Oh, that's true.
Lost a lot of favorite points.
Yep.
So this was at Geo Woodstock, and it was my first attempt at building a birdhouse geocache.
Right.
And I don't think even if I'd have built it out of steel, it wouldn't have been destroyed with 5,000 people coming through there
Oh gosh, I know.
in like 3 days. But so I ended up archiving that towards the end because I intended to keep it there forever, but people were
Destructive.
enthusiastic
Enthusiastic.
about the marbles.
It's good way to put it.
That one actually ended up in pretty good shape, but a couple other ones were destroyed. And then
Right.
the area that the business for Geo Woodstock agreed to have us. We had several caches on there,
Yeah.
but they were getting a lot more traffic than they were comfortable with. So
Oh,
I ended up archiving it after the weekend was over. But
okay.
I think at the height of that one, it had 128 or so favorite points.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was fun and it worked out well. But that's that gadget cache category.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to and there's a question on whether those are traditional or puzzles, right?
Right. No, I agree.
But definitely one of my favorite categories of unknown for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love that. Uh, this one also is interesting. I was looking at this one uh, also. So you're gonna have to talk about GC4 Yuma 7 outdoor. Is that a
Nope,
zero?
zero.
Zero zero terrain. So GC4 Yuma 70 terrain. Black Betty 3.
So Black Betty is the name of our Jeep,
Okay.
our first Jeep. So this was the third installment of a cache named after our Jeep.
Right.
Um,
Or not the song.
Another one was an ammo
Not
can that was,
not the song Black Betty. Whoa, Black Betty.
yep, that was even referenced in there in one of the iterations of
Right.
this cache. But one of the other iterations had an ammo can that was painted up. Took apart a remote control car and put all the wheels and the
Oh,
grill and
cool.
everything around the ammo can, and it was
Right.
painted up to look like a Jeep, and it was hidden out
Oh,
in the
neat.
woods for quite a while. That was one. So this was the third version,
Right.
and the idea behind this one, unfortunately, this is the pictures have disappeared from this cache page now, but
Yeah.
and it's locked, so you can't update it.
Right.
But the idea behind this one was it was an ammo can. It was a field puzzle. So there were 3 or 4. There were three. Does it, there were 3 or 4 trackables that were sent out into the field.
Okay.
They were associated with this cache.
Right.
There were 2 locks on the cache, and you had to get 2 out of the 3 or 4 trackables. You had to go
Okay.
find them. They
Right.
had copies of the keys on all the trackables. With a different
Oh,
combination.
cool.
So you had to get at least 2 of the trackables and find them to take them back to the container to
Right.
unlock both of the locks on it.
Oh, cool.
So it's
I like
pretty
that.
neat. Few people got to find it before it got stolen.
Oh
Um,
man.
but the whole idea was that there was more than just the cache. You had to also search out where those trackables were to get the keys to be able to open it. That was the only way. It wasn't a combination. It was only key
Right.
locked.
You had to get them right. You had to get the keys. The only way to get the
Right.
keys was to find the trackables.
Yeah. It was a
Go
fun
ahead.
one to put. It was almost as fun to put together as it was to find out people's reaction when they found it. So
Now, for folks that are scoring at home or thinking about doing something like this, um, do you have any suggestions as to why you chose the attributes that you chose? I noticed that you put obviously kid friendly. That's always important.
mhm.
We'll have to do a show about attributes sometime. I think.
Yeah, we need to.
I think it's important because people either abuse them, they don't use them at all, um, or they just don't. They just don't know how to use them properly. So, I like how you put field puzzle.
Yep,
That
and it
lets
truly
people
was a
know
field puzzle.
truly field puzzle. Um, put about bikes and dogs and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay.
This would not be one of the ones that I recommend. I would say definitely update the idea if you're gonna if you're gonna do a puzzle and you're gonna put it out in the field. There was a really good chance that this one was gonna fail.
Yeah.
So even if the container, which I spent months on the container because I painted it, dremeled it, did a nice little drawing, sketch drawing in the side of the ammo can and everything else, which was
Right.
really neat. It was a really fancy container, and now some random person has it. I don't know who has it, but I mean, I couldn't imagine that it would last that long. If you're going to put a puzzle out in the field and it's
Right.
physical keys, they're eventually going to go missing. Like how often do trackables go missing, right?
Oh, sure.
But this was what, over 5 years ago when I
Yeah.
put this out, and I was more hopeful then. I think that people would not steal my trackables.
Right. Oh
um,
gosh.
but it was, and I had some prizes in it, FDF coins and stuff like that, and that part
Right.
happened. It worked, but it was a lot of fun.
That's sad.
But I don't know that I would try that same version again, even if the final container didn't go missing, because the trackables just there's too much of a chance that those would go missing, and then your cache is
out.
pretty much done at that point.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. All right. Let's go down to this one. This is another fascinating one you have on the list. Legend of the Thompson Valley Squatch.
So This one
Also,
was a fun one. This was our first puzzle. I think it's either our first or second puzzle that we ever put out.
right.
Um, and it was pretty neat. You know, it was painted up. There was a little story about a Sasquatch that was roaming the hills.
There's a guy
Um,
found somebody found it, put their picture of it. So
yeah,
there, you still have a photo left of your ammo can.
yeah, it was definitely an ammo can. It was painted up. It had a little story to go along with it. And if you look on the cache page, it kind of gives you a little story. We wrote a little story to go along with it. And
Uh-huh.
basic premise was that is the location of the cache. So that it is at GC.
Okay.
As opposed to having to figure out something first. But what
Yeah.
you had to do when you got there is the story tells that the Sasquatch would eat hikers in the area.
Right.
He would eat everything but their shoes.
Okay.
So this is out in the area, unfortunately, where there was a big flood a couple years after that,
Oh, sure.
and so it's a mountainous area. When you get up there, there's it's not a park, but it's in the mountains, so you can see around, pretty good views. It was hidden under a huge boulder, and if you look around, you would see some tennis shoes hanging in trees.
Oh.
And if
Oh,
you go
this
up to
was
each one of those, you would find a
yeah.
code on the bottom of it. So there'd be a number
Oh,
on
okay.
each one of 4 shoes that were around,
Right. Right.
and you bring those numbers back, and 3 of those numbers would open the combination lock.
Oh, that is cool.
So it's pretty fun, and it was up very high elevation, out in the middle
Uh-huh.
of nowhere. No chance this one would go and get archived, right?
Right. Right.
So you would think if it's going to be archived, it would be based on the shoes going missing. I
Yeah.
planned for that. I got spare shoes to be able to replace it when someone went missing.
Right.
What I didn't plan on
Oh
is that there
no.
would be a flood so monumental that it would change the landscape of the whole area.
Oh yeah, the Big Thompson flood.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what
it
they're
was in that area.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah,
the
that was
Sasquatch was totally buried by the flood.
yeah.
There is about 40 feet of earth above. The elevation is actually different now where the cache is.
Wow.
It changed the area so much through there. It's basically under a mountain at this point.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't move. The earth around it did.
So there's
Um,
nothing left
yeah.
to
So it was a lot of
hunt.
fun, and it was one of those too that's out where there's really no service, and you're kind of in between some mountains as well.
Sure.
Wasn't super far off the road, but the GPS signal was bouncy in the area, and you really had to and you had to hike around because there's no real location other than just finding them in the area,
Yeah.
finding all the codes to do it. So it was
Wow.
a pretty fun one for the short period of time until Mother Nature decided she was going to muggle it.
Right. Well, but I like
But
the
again,
idea though.
it's at the given location, but you have to do something once you get there.
Yeah. I did something similar, um, in which I did, but it wasn't but I did it again. This kind of crosses that line. I think I made it a multi-cache. No, was yeah. And basically, you had to go to 4 different locations. In the order that you went to the 4 different locations, I had one of those locks. You've probably seen them. They're sort of the north, south, east, west lock.
Yeah.
You've seen those where you basically you slide it up, down, left, or right. And so based on the order, and I told in the cache description, it says you have to do the waypoints in order, or at least you need to make sure you remember what's waypoint number 1, what's waypoint number
Right.
2. So basically, I took them to a location where there was like North Texas Title, and then I went to West End Apartments or something like that. So the
Mm-hmm.
idea is that in the title of where I sent people was either north, south, east, or west. So I had them in order like west, north, south, east, or something. So when you got back to the cache, you would put in that combination, and the lock would open. So
And
again,
that really could go. That'd be a fun show too, right? Puzzle or multi.
puzzle or multi, yeah.
Maybe that's funny. Oh, I've got an idea for another show. I'll have to tell you about it afterwards. I don't want to surprise the fun now. I got a game for us.
Okay.
So
Speaking
that
of
Squatch one could have been a multi as well, right? If I just gave them the coordinates for those 4 shoes,
right,
and then took them to the final, that would have been a multi.
Sure. I follow you. I follow you. Let's talk about our next topic, our next category, which is this one that you put in the show notes. Flash mob cache. And why and this is interesting. It's an unknown or mystery cache cache type. But it's a flash mob. So talk a little bit about this one. This is in case you want to look it up if you're playing along. GC6 rating 7.5 water.
Have you done one of these mob caches?
I have done a mob cache, but you know what? It wasn't. We didn't do it as an unknown. We did it. Gosh, what did we do? I don't think we even did a. Did we do a separate cat? I don't know if we did a separate. We did a mob cache, but I don't know if we did a separate event. I think it was an event. We made an event. It was an event cache. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. So a mob cache, and
This is. Oh, okay. You're talking about completely something different. This is a cache you have to do as a group. I've never done.
I put out one. I actually put out one as part of a multi before too. But mob cache is basically like if you scroll down on that cache page, you'll see there's a link. So it's an offsite.
Right. Right here. Yeah. Chili
There's
head.
a link, and you have to have.
We did the show with him. Yep.
Yeah, you have to have X number of people. So the person that sets it, like say it's. I think that one that we have is 3 people. Right. So you need 3 people to log into this website all at the same time to put in this code, and it gives you the final coordinates.
Right, within 30 feet.
Yeah. So I've seen them as 3. I've seen them as many as a dozen, or even more for an event. I did one for an event, and it was kind of a temporary one, and it took 30 people.
That's cool.
It was an event with 100 people, so it's easy to do.
Right.
But essentially, the basic idea is it's another website you go to. It's programmed by the cache owner, of course, and you have to have multiple people or multiple devices.
Sure.
All log into this one site at the same time and put in the code for that cache, and it'll give you either the final coordinates or some information back. So, of course, it could be
a stage
for a second stage,
right,
or another puzzle or something like that too.
Yep, I follow.
But the general idea is you have to gather several people. They have to all log in at the same time, and then it gives you the next stage or the final.
Now, and these are still legal, I guess you could say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we did a show. If anybody wants to go back and find it, I'll try to find the show number. But we did the show with Chili Head. And we talked about mob caches and what was the other type we talked about? We talked about the other kind we're going to talk about tonight.
Inner caches.
Inner caches, yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, I like this. And I think this falls well under mystery or unknown or question mark. What do you want to call this?
Definitely. And they're pretty easy to program. I'm surprised there's not more out there, to be honest.
Sure.
They're kind of fun to do.
Yeah, I like them. Teamwork ones. I love it. Okay. Interesting. I like it. All right. Next one is this one is going to be kind of odd, I think, because
I think it bears mentioning, though.
We'll talk about it, and it's the AR caches because who knows? We might end up with AR cache. I mean, I know the jury is now deliberating.
Yeah, my guess is that it's going to stay as an unknown cache.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be its own cache type.
Man, I wish it was, though.
Unless they fold it into maybe Where I Go / Adventure Lab caches. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. My guess, they'll just keep it as another subsection of the AR.
Probably
the unknown cache type.
Yeah, I agree. So this is what we're talking about is it falls in the AR, which was out for a short period of time. They're still out there. I mean, they're still active, but you can't do any right now.
You can't hide any new ones, but the ones that are out there stay.
Right. You can still go find them. This one that we're talking about right now is GC7 query X-file query hike. AR reverse webcam. I love how you you made it into a webcam, which is I remember when you talked about this. It's like, yes, a webcam.
It took a little while to get that one published too.
Oh, I know. But I love how you thought outside the box even further and go, wait a minute. Um, you know, metaverse gives us this option,
Hmm.
and I like metaverse. I know some people like the HP reveal one better. I kind of like the metaverse. It was simple.
Yeah, I like
And
Metaverse better, and I think we've barely scratched the surface because people haven't had that much time to really play with them and trust them enough to get out there and do them. But
right,
there's a lot of things that I know the Metaverse one better than the other one that it could do that we could really get out there and
or
expand and get creative with.
right. What was the what's the premise or the what's the workings of this cache?
So this
Or
one was, because we can't put out any webcams now,
right,
you would go to a basic location and you would have to take your picture in the middle of the AR cartridge. Not cartridge, it's not a where I go, but the AR game, I
right.
guess.
Get the idea. Yeah, it's
Experience is what they called
sort of
it.
like a
AR
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
So that's where I had to put like in bold red letters on the cache page that you don't have to take a picture of yourself because that's against the rules.
right.
You can take a
Take
picture of
pic-
your foot or the sky. It's going to
right,
automatically
right.
give you the
The wall,
coordinates anyway for the final, right?
right.
But they were very firm about the fact that I could not require people to take a picture of themselves.
Right.
Which I don't know why people are so scared of taking a picture of themselves if it's a game that's
Yeah.
if it's like your job or you need to be secretive, don't do that cache. Go do another
Right.
one.
Exactly.
But
If you're in the witness protection program, you should not be telling people
probably don't
about.
play an online game. Go
Right.
back.
Probably
Um,
go do traditionals. You don't need to do this guide.
that's right. So
Very cool though. Good.
it didn't
It's a
get
good.
published though, but that was just basically my little joke of a webcam. But I think the AR caches are pretty neat. There's a lot. It's definitely falls under the unknown category, right? Because you can do a lot with them.
Yeah. No, mystery caches are. It does fall into that. I did the first one for in the state of Texas. The one I did. It's very simple, but you have to get to the location. Once you're in that geofence, you play the game, and what it does is it has a video connected to it, and so when you watch the video, you will see the coordinates will sort of be on a board in the video, and so like, oh, they're the coordinates. So then the final is obviously close by. So anyway, again, I think it fits in the mystery cache type. It
Yeah,
fits. It fits just fine. I still wish we had another cache type though,
I do. I would love another icon, of course, but
history or something.
yeah, there's definitely some ideas that may be fun to hear what people's ideas are on what the best icon to have would be.
Right.
But I could see AR as its own icon.
I, I agree.
Although it does have its limitations, right?
Sure.
Like if you're an offline cacher most of the time, like you can't do an AR cache out in the mountains.
Right.
You have to have internet to play it. So Where I Go has one up on that. So,
Yeah.
but AR caches can do a lot of different things that Where I Goes can't. So that's where they win a little bit.
Sure.
But it's not a full. I could see them. I could see the justification for keeping it as part of the unknown category.
Right. So now this is another one we were gonna. This kind of falls under the shall we play a game version, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a video game, still active. So if you actually finish this, you lived in Michigan, you could actually go find this cache. I'm gonna show you a little bit of it because I guarantee I won't finish the game, but I'll show you a little bit of it because it is interesting. I like, and we'll talk a little bit about it as I play it, but. In case you want to play along, this one is GC74 Puzzle 4. And it works out perfect. It's a puzzle because it kind of is a puzzle. But it's a video game. So here we go. Avoid the muggles. And you're going to see how bad Gary is at this game. Are you ready? Jesse to see how bad I am at this game. So
Ready.
here we go. Let's see if I can click it just right. Oh, hang on. Can you hit enter and do it? No, you have to hit click. You have to click on it. So, all right, here we go. Oh, hang on.
For people that are on the audio show right now and going, this is terrible audio. Gary is playing a video game called Cache Hunter, and he's a little guy, and he's
Hey,
running.
I got one.
Safari hat on. He's running through and jumping over muggles and collecting the different icons.
Hey, I got where I go.
Icons go through the game. All the icons are in there. If he gets to the end and opens the treasure box,
it'll give me coordinates, right?
Code to get the coordinates.
I won't get all the way, but let me get a little.
I have seen so far, he probably will not make it live on here with all this pressure.
No, but I love riding the little guy. I'm on top of the muggle. This is the tough one because there's another muggle to the right of him, and the letterbox hybrid is in front of me, and I've got to make a decision as to when. Okay, I'm just going to go for it because I'm riding on top of the muggle. I'm riding back and forth. So, all right, Jesse, I'm going to probably screw it up right here, but that's going to give it a shot. So
right, you got it. You can do it. Jump off the guy. Jump. Back up. There you go.
Oh, so close. Oh, well, you get the idea.
You were almost up to the mystery icon, which would have been perfect for the show.
It's been history, right? I almost got to the question mark, so close enough. So this is how'd you find this thing? FlowLab.io. I guess it's still out there. It's still available.
Yeah, it's still out there. And actually there was one in Canada too, but it ended up getting muggled, so that one's gone now. It's been archived.
Oh, okay.
But so that's the only one of those left. And yeah, FlowLab was out for a while, and it was free, and you could build your own video games in it.
Okay.
And it took a while, but the side-scrolling Mario style video game was pretty easy to program as far as video games go. The inspiration for that one was Flappy Bird. Did you ever see the Flappy Bird?
Yeah.
And then there was another area that was based on Stickman.
Okay.
So it was like a Stickman adventure, and you go through the game, and if you get to the very end, it would give you each part of the thing would give you another number, and you get the final coordinates or whatever. So
cool.
That's been pretty fun. I get some pretty good logs on that one, some pretty good emails and notes. It's picked up about 14 favorite points, which it's been found a lot more than that, but
36 times.
Out of 36. So. Although I don't know what the percentage is of.
A couple days ago. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's see.
A lot of the emails on that one are. I got my little
42%.
My young nephew to play this game, and he gave me the final coordinates. So now I'm going to go find it.
Cool. I like it. That's a great idea.
But a good example of that's one of those. There's a video game on the page, and there's a whole bunch of video game type things like that are customized, where you get through the video game and then you get to go find the cache.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing for a little bit, so we'll get back to talking a little bit. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very creative, and we need more. I think we need more like that are, kind of fun. Like it's similar to the. I didn't have it. I didn't show it tonight on the Shall We Play a Game ones, but have you ever seen the kind that are there's probably a good name for it in the web. I'm sure the chat room would tell us, but you've probably seen these old tile games. Remember you used to get them in like a party favor or something. And it would make it was like a
around pictures and get them in place.
Yeah, it was like a picture, and then you had to kind of move the tiles and try to get the picture all solved. There's one of those that I worked on. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you. There was two parts to it. The first part gave you the north coordinates, and the second part gave you the west coordinates. And the first part I did fine. The second one, for the life of me, I could not finish that stupid tile. I finally did. I actually left it. I think we've all done this with puzzles. I left it. It's like, I'm done. I'm walking away. I'm leaving. Next day after work, I came home. I pulled it up. Boom, did it. It's like, dang it. Why couldn't I do it? But Just maybe walk away and come back. Sometimes that's the best way to do it, right?
That's funny. But there's, I mean, it kind of goes to show you there's tons of options out there
Yeah.
that are not necessarily just a puzzle.
Right.
Although a puzzle can be almost anything too, right? We could talk about puzzles for hours.
Oh, sure.
Different types of puzzles out there.
Now,
But these are all ones that I wouldn't say are just a puzzle on the page and then you go find it. So this is a little different for those.
Now, this is actually, and I don't want to really get into this next section too much because it really does fall into probably a lot of your book that we're going to talk about in 3 weeks. But I think we should sort of touch on the subject because it typically, well, I think always do challenge caches have to be mystery?
They do. They have to be under the mystery category and they have to have the English word challenge in the title.
Okay, cool.
No matter where they're published, they have to have the English word challenge in the title.
Now that's the rules today. I guess we need to specify for people that are unfamiliar. Challenge caches have been around. Gosh, I wonder what the first real challenge cache was.
It's really hard to say because they didn't have to be classified the way
they
did.
Right. That's what I was wondering. It'd be interesting to see. Anyway, so there was pre-moratorium and there was post-moratorium.
Right.
In case people are unfamiliar with what happened, but geocaching.com decided, oh gosh, when was that, Jesse? How long ago was that? 3 years ago?
The date, I was looking at it recently. And the funny thing is, the reason why it's the date sticks for me.
Yeah.
And I just got done writing the book all weekend, right? So that was but I'm trying to find the GC number here. Hold on a second. So they let it loose again on May 25th.
Okay. Of what
the
year
reason
was
why
it?
I know that is, besides it's in the rules, I had a cache waiting to publish the day that they let it loose.
Oh wow!
Another challenge. I'd been sitting on this challenge and waiting for it to be published.
What year was that again? I'm sorry, I missed the date.
2016.
16. Okay.
Yeah, so that was when they let the moratorium off at first.
Sure.
And they let publish new challenges, and that's when he started the review phase.
Yep.
Which we're still in a little bit, but
yeah, that's sort of another show too.
As weird as challenges are, and I don't want to get into it today, but because I was writing that book, I researched a bunch of the weird challenges that are out there.
Sure.
Here, there's some weird ones out there.
There are.
Again, well, not to get into it now, but I can absolutely understand why they changed the rules. There is some weird stuff.
Oh, right. So, I bet.
But yeah, that was the moratorium. The moratorium came back. Now we have a new set of rules. So
yeah. One of the ones that I found when we were researching items for the show is I found this one. It's and I thought about you, Jesse, because I was like, yeah, he'll get a kick out of this one because I know you've seen caches like this or challenges like this. This is the challenge to find a certain number of challenge caches.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to have logged 150 challenge caches in the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas?
Yes.
Wow.
Before you could log this challenge cache. And you had to label, or obviously you had to tell them which. This was, by the way, this is more pre-moratorium. This one was hidden in 2013. You can't do this anymore, right? It's like wishing for more wishes. Is this kind of the challenge?
So you can.
You might be able to get this. Okay.
Because that could be searched on. So you can limit to an area. You can do a certain number of types of caches. Mm-hmm. You couldn't say it has to be done based on a date. Like you have to find them before this cache was published because new people could never find it.
Right.
But challenge caches, I think you could, as long as you didn't say it had to be by a certain person. And there's plenty of caches out there for them to choose from. Like there are. You couldn't say they have to find 150 challenge caches if there's only 120 in Texas.
Sure.
Right? Sure. I think that would fly nowadays.
The person who hid this one actually made a note about their qualifications. So they had put at a different date of like how many they had found, and by they say that they are now. This was back in 2014, and
Mm-hmm.
this is hard to believe, but I assume this is accurate. But they say that on 3/23/2014 that they had found 333 active challenge caches in Texas.
I could see that.
It's incredible. Finding 167 was required to claim. They had a bonus smiley. I don't think you can definitely. I don't know if you can do that again or not.
You
But
can't double log them anymore.
yeah, they had a double logging thing that they did, and you could get a geocoin based on the bonus. Kind of
Nice.
cool though. But again, it's still active, and that's something I think that we'll get into when we talk about actual challenges. But um, I got a kick out of that one because it reminds me of the whole asking the genie for wishing for more wishes. So
Right.
challenges for more challenges. So, all right, so let's get into a couple of them that you put in your list. So there's one that you have. It's called Mafia Challenge D5 T5 Diversity, and this was post moratorium. It's in case you're playing along, it is GC7 Fizzy 864. It's it in itself is a D5,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a challenge, and um, oh, I've actually have I solved this one? Oh, I've got I'm showing I'm showing the cache. Oh, this is something. Well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when we get to challenges. But I've got the little puzzle thing, so I guess I've got the puzzle. I got the.
No, it's at the coordinates.
Oh, that's why. Oh, because I did the solve. That's why I know it. Yeah, because you've got
A checker.
you have a checker, and the checker goes uh solution checker, and I check the
Yeah.
solution, and it says you are correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Although it already says that it's at the posted coordinates, but why not put the checker on there, right?
Yeah, what the heck? Why not?
No, this was a fun one, and this is mine, so obviously I liked it or I wouldn't have put it out, right?
Sure.
But this is one of my favorite types of challenge caches. That's why I put one out similar to it.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of defines a certain type, but it really makes you go out and do a bunch of different stuff, right? It's not like find 5,000 or something.
Right.
It's find it's five caches, but you had to find them in 5 different states, 5 different sizes, and 5 different cache types.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you really got to be into it. Not everybody would be into that, right? But the people that are like that because they like that diversity and that challenge of really seeking out and finding those. But
Sure.
It took a little bit to get that one passed also.
Sure. I hear you. Well, you have to qualify. And again, we'll get into challenges more in a couple of weeks. But again, it fits the mystery cache. In fact, it has to be. It has to be a mystery cache, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
has to be no other choice. You can't do one of those as any other type.
Yeah, that's a really good, a really another, like I said, another good example of not making it, because I think the thing is, and this is the reason why I thought this would be a good show to do, and that is people when they see the question mark, they immediately think, oh, I got to solve a puzzle on the website to get the chords, and it's not always the case. Not always the case. So,
and some people absolutely avoid them.
They do. Well, you know, I will look at it and then decide. But I go into it thinking I'm going to have to solve a puzzle, and then when I look at it, I can go, oh no, this is a little different. This isn't your typical puzzle. So I have to get out of the mindset that these are not, the question mark is not puzzle caches.
It's not only puzzle. Yeah, it could be field puzzle. It could be gadget cache. It could be challenges, of course. It could be all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to look at one to see if it's something you want to do.
Right. I agree. Always pull them up because they may not be puzzles. They may be something completely unique.
Now, are you an unknown cache finder? Do you tend towards obviously traditional is number one for almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
Do you know which? And I think we've even talked about this before, but do you know what your number 2 category is?
I'm looking right now.
Oh, you cheater!
I don't know. I am going to cheat because I couldn't guess. There's no way I could guess. Multi, maybe. Let me take a look.
Oh gosh, definitely not for me. Multi's probably like way down for me.
Oh, stats. I went to the wrong page. Hang on. Statistics.
I'm putting this in the chat room at the same time.
Is multi. Yeah, I was right. Well, I did not cheat. I looked at it afterward. Multi second, virtuals are third. Unknowns for me is fourth. So that's not bad. Earth cache is way down.
Yeah, traditional definitely is first for me, and then mystery is my second. And then events because I go to one every week.
Sure.
But I'm kind of surprised by my third. It's letterbox.
Letterbox? See, my letterbox is way down the list. It's down there near megas. I've been to 5 megas. I've only found 6 letterboxes. There's not a lot of them around here.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Shame on you, Texas people. Hide more letterboxes.
We should. We should have more letterbox hybrids. It's a hybrid. You don't have to make it. So anyway. Interesting. Okay. We're starting to run out of time. Let's do I want to skip down to your Northern Colorado 25 webcams. So talk about this one real quick. This is
the reason I even listed that one because I know we don't want to get into challenges tonight, right? That's a different subcategory. It's because it's funny. It's me being funny again.
Right.
So first of all, I had to fight to get a cache for 25 webcams because they said one, there's not that many out there. I said, well, that's what makes it interesting.
Right.
And they said, well, people aren't that interested in them. I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah. I said, go listen to a podcast.
Yeah, exactly right.
We do a countdown on our podcast because they're going away so much. And it's funny. So I asked in the chat room, and we'll have a couple more here in a second, but everybody's top finds like by type.
Yeah.
So we got several in here now. So that's going to be interesting here in a second. But so it's 25 webcams, but because I like to be a smart aleck sometimes.
Yep.
I hit it on an LPC, but it's actually a nano up on top of the LPC. So everybody goes looking under it and says it's not there.
Right.
So just to be a, what.
Right.
But
that's tough.
But nobody said it's going to be right there where it's supposed to be. 25 webcams is tough if you don't travel a lot. But if you travel and you intentionally grab webcams, you can get 25 webcams.
Oh, sure, you can. Hey, you had a lackey find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rock Chalk did it. So it's geocaching.com approved.
So this is interesting. So I threw that question out in the chat room. Yeah. Traditional is everybody's number one. I don't see anybody that doesn't have traditional as number one. Right. But then it's virtual and mystery and virtual, unknown and multi and virtual, unknown and virtual. So unknown is the top of just about everybody's.
Huh. Well,
some people hunt for mystery. Virtual is pretty good too, but
I try to do virtuals.
That's funny too because if you would ask if we had a heavy night with international people,
yes,
we might have gotten multi as a much higher.
Multi's my second. I know it's weird, but multi's my second. I mean, we're gonna do it. We're gonna show on multi caches too. It's some down the road. We're gonna do one called memorable multi caches because, again, that's another one of those that I think really deserves to be discussed fully.
And there's some subcategories of multi-cache too that are not your traditional find one, find another stage.
Yeah, there are some. Well, I just finished the book again, the 201 Geocaches to Find Before You Die, and there are some very cool multi-caches out there. We'll talk about that again another time because I think it's fascinating. Along with this topic, I think it's very fascinating. There is a wide world out there for the mystery. we only scratched the surface tonight. I mean, there's almost unlimited. I mean, and I think that's kind of what they went for, don't you think?
I think so. So that, I'm always the first one to ask for another icon type, right? Because I
Yeah,
definitely want them because it would just change a lot of things for us. More stuff
sure.
for us to go and do. Obviously, it's the game. However, I kind of like the unknown category in that it's really the catch-all. You can just really be kind of creative with it.
Right.
Kind of like lab caches, how they're trying some different things or whatever, but it's established type and you can do a lot of things with it and you can be pretty creative. And as long as it ends in coordinates, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Whether it's a game or a physical puzzle somewhere or whatever it is, it can really, as long as it ends up and it really doesn't even have to end up in coordinates because I've seen several of them out there that you end up with an answer to the puzzle. You plug that into the puzzle checker and it gives you the coordinates.
Right. Let the checker do it.
Right.
That's smart.
Now, have you seen the puzzle that doesn't say it's not at the posted coordinates and the whole page is just a red herring? It's actually at the posted coordinates. Those are pretty funny.
Those are funny. Yeah. I like that.
And then and I don't know so I guess this would fall into the puzzle category, but those whole red herring puzzle, red herring unknown caches. Technically, they're not always puzzles, but they are kind of puzzles. So,
yeah, and I think that we all need to sort of maybe at certain times we need to step back and go, what can I do that's different and maybe could fit, like you said. I know that go watch some of Joshua the geocaching vlogger's Germany ones. The Daniel Fleeger's. Daniel Fleeger's got some of those that are crazy. I mean, they're crazy.
Somebody mentioned liar's caches. Those are definitely like red herring type caches.
Do they allow those anymore?
Well, I would say no.
Yeah.
But I have seen one that's been published recently.
Oh, okay.
I was pretty sure they weren't allowed anymore, but
yeah.
If they let it through, they let it through, right?
They let it through. Yeah. Reviewer lets it through. Okay. So I guess final thoughts and then we'll wrap this puppy up.
Wrap this show up. And we, there's a lot about this, and we were trying to talk about unknowns beside puzzle caches, right? So, but if you're doing puzzle caches, there's pretty much a good book out there, how to solve puzzle caches.
Right.
Go get that. That'll help you if you're scared of that part. But I would say even if you like puzzles, you probably do the unknown cache type a lot. If you don't like puzzles because it's just really not your thing, don't forego the whole category because there's so many other things. Like we talked about mob caches.
Right. You got a dog coming in. That's funny. Yeah. I really haven't explored enough of the mob cache one. That's one that's really, that's a good example, I think. Also, hopefully ARs will stay around too. So we'll see.
Dog's so excited about. He just wants to be on the show.
He does.
Apparently, he likes the unknown category type.
He's loving it.
But mob caches, like we were talking about it, you don't have to solve a puzzle. You just have to have people there with you, right?
Right.
You're clicking on a website, which obviously you can do.
Sure. Makes sense.
And then the video game ones, that's not puzzles.
Right.
I guarantee everybody's played a video game.
Right. And you can do the Simon. The other one that I was telling you about was the Simon where you click on the old Simon game with the blue, red, yellow, green, and you click, and then once you get it right so many times, it gives you the coordinates. So it's another one of those play a game, get chords.
Now, do you know if WV Tim, if he lists his gadget caches as traditionals or puzzles? I think he does traditionals, doesn't he?
They're traditionals with field puzzles.
So I've seen several of them as puzzles because they consider them field puzzles.
Yeah.
Field puzzles. If you're skipping that question mark, keep in mind you may be skipping some serious gadget caches, Arduino caches, all kinds of really neat stuff out there that you probably don't want to miss.
Yeah. Open them up in your area or where you're going. If you're going on a trip somewhere, don't skip them. I mean, skip them if you don't want to do them, but you need to figure them out first. Or as far as you need to figure out what kind they are. There's
Yeah.
there's plenty of options out there that
Don't just automatically skip them because you don't want to do puzzles. Because
right.
all these we're talking about tonight are none of those are puzzles, really the typical
Yeah,
type of puzzles. But
typical. Exactly. Very good. Okay, so next week you are in South Dakota.
yeah, I'll be up in Zach's neck of the woods, hoping to hit a full grand worth of caches
Wow,
next weekend.
that's awesome.
Well,
Well, you
landmark, you
know,
said we had to get 1,000 every year, right? So I want to go ahead and get that knocked out real quick.
something like that. Uh, South Dakota keeps people. I know. I don't know if all. I don't. Well, I know every state doesn't do this, but South Dakota. There's caches along the edge of this
Mm-hmm.
of this along the border of South Dakota. There's caches. So.
That's what we're going to get.
Oh, cool.
We're going to
Also,
get the northern, eastern, all the way down to Sioux Falls, and then end up in Zach's area. I'd love for us to make it all the way to get that unicorn farts.
right.
But
Hopefully
we're
you can
trying
make
for 1,000 is our target goal. That'll be a successful weekend if we get 1,000.
That's incredible. Just an incredible amount. Well, there's the fizzy grid too. He's got the fizzy grid.
Yeah, I think they just got a bunch of snow up there, so we might have to come
Okay.
back up for the fizzy grid.
Okay. We have to,
But we
right.
have another trip already. We're thinking about going back out there anyway. So
It's like ET Highway #2, man. That's incredible.
that's right. We try to hit one of those once a year, and you know what? Maybe we need to do one of those shows too, just a power caching show.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can do it about once a year, and that's about all I can do that.
Right. Well, I like when your friend and you took off and great story about it's really a guy. I guess gals can do it too, but guys,
Oh yeah,
where you don't you don't stop. You shower in the bathroom. What do y'all call that? That's the trucker shower where you just sort of wipe the face, brush the teeth, and move on.
that'll be this one from Thursday through Sunday. We'll be doing trucker showers and sleeping in the car. We got our sleeping bags. There's
Right.
2 cars with 4 people. We're going to be going nonstop.
Right.
We don't need any.
No.
We don't need a hotel.
Gas and a Slim Jim. Off you go, man.
Yeah. Bunch of caches, bunch of counties. Going to hit 3 or 4 states while we're up there too, so.
Cool. That's awesome.
Lots of fun.
Yep. So next week, we have a fill-in. We have Derek Baker behind the cache will be with me. We're going to talk about gadgets, and we're going to talk about the gadget for everyone. So we're going to talk about everybody that you too can create a gadget cache. So we're going to talk about you don't have to do something like WTM. You can do something a little less. But we want everybody to be doing gadget caches. So we're going to talk about that. In 2 weeks, you'll be back, and we will talk to Jessie Maxwell. She is the reviewer for Snag a Tag, and we were able to participate. Jessie got to hide a Snag a Tag, and we'll talk about that and the process, and we got to be part of it. So that'll be cool. And then in 3 weeks, we're going to spend a little extra time. We're going to do a show on Jessie's challenge book. So looking forward to that, hearing about that. And
yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I think I need to force the CFO to come on the show that night.
Yeah.
And she's doing a lot of the work.
We'll get Christy on. We'll do I'm all for that.
I am too, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
I'm pro Christy. She's a great gal. So we'll have to have her on if possible. So, all right. Well, that's May 5th. Man, time is flying. That's in 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. We'll be it's going to be summertime, like
I know.
Geo Woodstock, and then some other huge events that are happening this summer. No time. It just started. The year just started. We were just doing Podcast of Hope.
We were, weren't we?
Yeah, it seems like we just did it.
We just, yeah. We got to talk sometime too about, and we'll do another show. We know we'll do at least one show about going caching because we had the Waysiders were on. We'll do another show with them for sure. But I have to talk to the missus, but we may have to make a trip over that way.
I definitely want to go big time.
It's See, the benefit I have is that my son is that direction, so I could talk my wife into like, hey, we could see we could see Nathan on the way, and then we just
Well,
pop
that one,
over to Rome, Georgia, and
besides being awesome, because I
yeah,
really want to go to that one, right? Everybody
yeah,
that's gone and told me about it, just they've
it's
really,
incredible.
that one and Yuma, both of those I really want to go to.
Yeah.
But going caching is not terribly far from two very important caches that will help
Yes.
us hit our double Jasmer.
Oh yeah. There's at least three in the book that I'm finishing. There's like 5 caches in Georgia that are part of the 201 geocaches to find before you die. I mean, there's obviously the Jasmine ones, the Lake Lanier, but
Mm-hmm.
there's like I think there's at least 5. I don't have the list in front of me, but that you really need to do. They're incredible caches in the state of Georgia that you really need to do that should be on anybody's bucket list. So anyway, so yeah, we'll talk about going caching as it gets closer. I know
Yeah.
we're getting Jesse and I are getting called out by people going, "Where's your will attend? Get your will attends in." So we'll have to wait and see.
That's a good point.
I can't quite commit to it, but I'm kind of wanting to commit to it. So we'll see.
I really do.
Me too. All right. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on follow Geocache Talk on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook is facebook.com/geocache talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, as well as the Geocache Talk website, geocachetalk.com. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button below and ring the bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. Get reminded. Tell your friends about the show. That really is important for us. Take a moment right now, well, or if you're watching live, right after the show's over, and send a quick note to your friends and go, check this out. Go to geocachetalk.com. Go watch the show because it'll be up there from tonight, and it also has other good info and great sponsors. I mean, we really get to talk sponsors tonight a lot, but we always love our sponsors, and go check it out. And also, get involved in the chat room. Chat room's always popping. Jesse does his best to keep up with that and listen to me rant and answer all my questions. So, so until next week, not for Jesse, but for everyone else, don't just talk about geocaching. Go find you an unknown, a mystery, the question mark. And it doesn't even have to be a puzzle unless you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. But go geocaching. Good night, everybody.
Good night.